YouTube, how the devil are you doing? It's Cool King checking in again. I hope that you are fine and dandy. So you've seen bits of footage. Yeah, come out for a Wildcamp, if you've not guessed that already. There's my tent. Oh, there's my tent. That is the Tarptent Scarp. We shall have a look at that in a second. You can just make out my Atom Packs Mo. Let's do a MTV cribs on the old Tarptent. And also, just let's appreciate this stunning vista. So inside there we can see two pillows. The top one is a new one. It's a Nemo pillow. Never used it before. Tonight is the first night. Underneath that is an X-Ped pillow. I've used that a few times. It's alright. Come to the sleeping bag is actually a quilt. The Enlightened Equipment 20 degree down quilt. And then underneath I've got that same 4-class insulating thingamabob. And my little silver foil tray. Down there is just my bag of sleeping clothes now, but all this went in there. So Mountain Laurel Designs Cuban fibre bag. And of course my rab slippers, but I don't think I'm putting them on. It's a bit windier up here. This is on the top. So the Pennine Way is just on the other side of this sort of ridge. Just in the distance there, you might be able to make out the M62 where we crossed before. You can just see the radio mast where I started my filming. Not where I started my walk. And there's my camp. There's the tent. There's my piece of Tyvek next to my bag with all my meal stuff all over the top of it. And again, let's just appreciate that view. So Blackstone Edge is just over yonder. I think I might be able to see the trig point actually. Oh yeah, we can. Out there-ish. Just see the trig point. These two pieces of stone here. That Robin Hood's bed. So I got up here, I think it was probably about 6:30. It started to rain a little bit. So I put my tent up. I wouldn't have ordinarily put my tent up. Then I'd have probably been looking at putting it up around, which is, so sunset soon. Quad bike went over the top before. It was a little bit worrying. I don't think anyone has spotted me tonight, and I'm getting up early because there are a catalogue that we need to discuss. Let's tell you a little fact first. So Robin Hood's bed, that away, you can just see it there. It's a lovely little bit of local history, folklore that Robin Hood, when he was travelling up and down the country doing whatever it was he was doing, he found them and slept between them, protected from the wind, and had guards sat around him whilst he slept. I think it's written in some local paperwork. I can't remember. Let's have another little fact while we're on facts. So the M62 we crossed just before junction 22. I think the footage that I'll show you of overlooking the lorries that was doing something on the hard shoulder, that's looking in the direction of junction 22. Junction 22 of the M62 is the highest motorway junction in England. I want to say 378 metres off the top of my head, because I'm full of useless facts like that. Catalogue of errors. So boiling some water in my Soto stove, Soto thermostat, using the Soto stove, the Amicus. No, it's not. It's the Flex. Anyway, you know what I mean. The other stove, Windmaster Flex 4 stuff. Yeah, turns out that my gas bottle's empty now, so I had enough gas to boil the water to make my evening meal, which was the fire pot orzo pasta bolognese, which actually turned out to be alright. Rehydration of it last time, it was a bit sticky in my teeth and just wasn't good. I put a bit more water in this time, I think that helped. I thought I had a bit too much water at some point, but it turned out really good. I enjoyed it. They are the devil's work, as is the long spoon. They are the devil's work, but for a meal in this situation, it was acceptable. So running out of gas, what does that mean? It means I'm out of gas. It means that the hot chocolate that I was having this evening with my Baileys is no longer happening. We're just having Baileys, so that's no good. The Horlicks that I was having before bed, that's not happening. And the coffee that I'm having when I get up at 4:50 tomorrow morning, that's when I've set my alarm for, will not be happening. Nor will the porridge, the new breakfast of champions. You're gonna love this. Consists of a cranberry and cashew mix, which was my evening snack for tonight, but it's now for tomorrow. And a pepperoni fire stick with a pint of milk. But I'm a bit concerned about this no coffee thing. Coffee roasters, once a month there is, they do open days for the roastery, the last Saturday of every month, or second to last Saturday of every month, and that's tomorrow, so I could just walk all the way there. I think that's what I'm going to do. I am having microphone issues, which I have only just realised, so this may be shocking. The whole video is probably going to be shocking. It is actually darker than is appearing on the GoPro, which is good, that you can actually see stuff. You can see some lights. So these clump of lights you might not be able to see, but there's some red lights just above that are a bit higher. That's Manchester city centre. This clump of lights here is Rochdale, and then this, the little water that you can see, that's Hollingworth Lake, which is also affectionately known as Blackpool of the Hills. And then this down here, I'm not quite sure, I think it's just Littleborough, which is part of Rochdale. It's that sort of area, and I don't think we can still make out but the wind farm on the top of the hill over there. So I've just checked my thermometer on the handy little Skywatch Explorer thing, and it says 12 degrees. 12.3 is what it's on, and the wind is 0. This little bit here is proper protected out of the wind. I'm assuming if the wind was coming this way up the hill, it'd be quite horrendous here. It'd be a bit of a wind trap. But tonight, today, right now, it's all good. The tent behind me, the Scarp, I did bring, it has some poles that sort of clip on these attachments here, cross over, they clip into a little pocket on the guy line there, and it's a bit of a sort of crisscross thing. So it's once they're in, you can pick the tent up and move it about if you want. But I put them on today, and I think the last time I used it and I put them on, I messed about with the guy lines, and I think I've moved the little cups where the poles sit, and it wasn't quite right, so I'm not bothering with them. I don't think this evening I will need them. It's not forecast wind at all, so I'm all good. I haven't even pegged the main guy lines out on the side of it, mainly because I've only brought 6 pegs. If I needed to put them in, I'd need 8. Yeah, that is a little bit of an error on my part. This whole Wildcamp is turning into an erroneous one. But I've had my Baileys, that went down nicely. A shot of Baileys out of a plastic container, just lovely. I've had a mouthful of water with all my pills. Still a bit cloudy over that way, but behind me, you can see the moon there. There's no clouds up there really. There is over on that way now. So if the old aurora is out, we may see them. I think the peak time for us is 4 o'clock, and I have set my alarm for 4:50. I think 4:50 is definitely late enough, early enough for me. I don't think I'm going to bother getting up at 4 just to see if there is any cloud or not, unless I wake up naturally. Right, there's a catalogue of errors this evening, as we are fully aware. The next catalogue of errors or the next error as part of that catalogue of errors I should say, is the GoPro battery has gone. Luckily I've got my charger with me and I'm charging it up, but who knows how much filming we'll have tomorrow. I suppose it depends. But I've got ready for bed. It's 11 o'clock bang on the dot. I've used this Garewall extra cream. This smells really good, sort of menthol. It's really nice on your feet in general, to be fair, but after a walk, before a walk, just nice. I did mention about things that I brought with me, adding to the 14 kilograms that probably won't use and haven't used, and 2 of them are video lights for this. Only lightweight ones, but this seems to do alright. This is the LED lens ML4. It's a nice little lantern. This is the lowest setting that it does. And then next to that, you might be able to see, that's my little Govee thermometer. It says it's 17 degrees in here at the moment, so it's going to be warm this evening, I think, so that's alright. I think that's it. We'll see what the situation is with this in the morning, I suppose. Well, good morning. It is 4:50. Well, it's 4:56. The alarm went off at 4:55. Been up since about 4:30 for no specific reason, really. Just woke up and haven't gone back to sleep. Bit of a lazy start, I suppose. So the temperature drops down to a whopping 12 degrees. I did feel a bit chilly, but not cold. My heart rate was down at 53, so I must have been completely chilled and relaxed. Woke up a few times. I do remember waking up. Watch says that I've had 8 minutes awake during the night, which is probably believable. I have my fantastic breakfast to look forward to, so there's that. But I think I'm going to start packing up. Slow pack up, I think. Get the inside of the tent sorted, everything in my bag, and then put my bag on the piece of Tyvek outside, and then I'll wipe the tent down with my cloth and put the tent away, I think. And hopefully, I've given myself an hour to do that. That's quite a long time, I think. Knowing me, I'll use the full hour, maybe a little bit longer, and then it'll be breakfast and no brew, and set off on my trails. Oh yeah, there is absolutely no chance of the Aurora Borealis being seen last night when I dipped my head out. Yeah, it's misty out there. So I'm up. It's not actually that cold out here. My watch says 9. When I said 12 degrees before the low, that was inside the tent. Forgot to mention that. The low for the evening was about 5. It's not too bad. Like I say, it's just clicked over to 10 now. So I've had a wash, the old baby white wash, and this stuff. It's called Trust Long Life Underarm Deodorant. Just a little bit of a freshen up with that. Going seeing people in a bit. The next task is to use this sponge to take a little bit of moisture off the tent before I pack it away. We'll do that. Now these are really good because they are super absorbent. You're supposed to keep them a little bit damp because you're not supposed to hold them apart until they are damp, because it's the material, it sort of sticks on itself. So now we have a full-size cloth. So the cloud cover has come back and there is absolutely nothing to see up there as well. See, it's come right down. Yes, pack's back on, feels good, doesn't feel niggly, I feel alright. 2 kilograms at least less this morning, which is thankful of that actually, I'm very thankful. And now I'm going to get on my route. I should have actually looked so I could tell you how far it is going to be, although the route that I had set, the start point is from where I got dropped off, not from here, so that's why I wasn't sure yesterday with how far it's going to be. The old leave no trace, just the footprint of where the tent was, absolutely nothing else around, so I think that's about it. I don't know how much filming I'm going to get done on this route back. Again, battery issues. I did start doing a time lapse this morning before I woke up of that sort of view over there, hopefully to catch the sunrise coming up on the hills, and the battery died on the camera that I was using to do the time lapse. So it's saying 3 hours for my 6.89 mile walk. So if I start the route now, it tells me that I am well off course. So I'll let it catch up. I know where I'm going. So I've got to figure my way out of here though. That's the issue. Thought I'd lost my tent peg bag. So I put it in with my ground sheet, and then when I put my hand in my pocket, the tent peg bag was in my pocket, which is handy and frustrating. I can feel the dew in my Solomon trainers, which I opted to wear for this trip, are a bit gash if I'm honest. So I'm going to have wet feet I think by the end of it. So I'm back up on the Pennine way, and the visibility is quite poor. I can see where I'm going. I know roughly the direction I'm going in. It's all good, I'll say that. Nearly got lost. It's not cold. There's a little bit of wind, which is why the hood's gone up. Foolishly I put my big hat back in the bag, and yeah, I've got my they're only sort of microlight windproof gloves, but again from the old Bobby Dancer, my fingers on my toes get horrendously cold to the point where I think I'm going to die from cold fingeritis, which is a severe problem obviously, and we wouldn't want that, would we? Slight detour, would you believe? I did get lost a little bit, which caused me to get even wetter feet, and I think I still have over 7 miles to go. My shoes are squelching. I just noticed that you can actually see the seam has come away now. They weren't like that when I set off yesterday. These Solomon shoes have actually been the worst pair of shoes that I've owned, I think, for this type of thing. I wanted to try wearing trainery type things rather than my big heavy boots. Ultralight, innit? But yeah, these have been horrendous, to be fair. They cut my piece to shreds for months when I was breaking them in, and now they've come away. So these are now car wash trainers, I suppose. Ball of fire is getting brighter, trying to burn through. Thought I'd give this a go. It's giving a wind reading 3.5, and then it stopped. Might have just been me moving that. There is a slight breeze. It says it's 13 degrees, 13.1. Not too bad, I suppose. My beard is wet. Must be a bit of moisture in the air, because it's not off me, not yet. Off my head, not off my beard. So I've done my 2.5 miles to this point, bridge over the M62. It's only half a mile to where I was dropped off yesterday, but I thought I would show you this. There's always accidents at this junction. If the M62 is closed anywhere, it's going to be junction 22, Bushcraft, and this might be why. Totally different than yesterday. So this is the bit I've never done before, so this should be fun. We shall see. Getting a bit peckish now, so I think it's time for the new Breakfast of Champions pepperoni fire stick, followed by cashew and cranberry mix. We'll see how that goes, eh? Well, this is the trig point at White Hill, this is called. There is a gate that way, and we can go that way. I think I'm going through the gate. I've come off the Pennine way for a little bit and then rejoin it further down. Although, I might have a look at the map and double check that, see if there's a different route. It's not a bad walk, this, up here. Like I say, I've never been on this bit before. It's alright, nice and easy going up here. I've seen one person, didn't see anybody yesterday. I've seen one person this morning. Don't know what he was doing, looks a bit shifty. Didn't have a bag with him, I wonder what he's up to. I've had my breakfast of champions, went down well. Quick glug of water, back to it.
12 seconds later.
So I had to come back because the trig point is just there. In the matter of seconds from setting off from the trig point, the mist has come back. I thought it had just managed to burn it off, but I was wrong, because it is quite warm, if you can tell. I've got a bit of a sweat on now. I've got a reasonably quick pace at the moment as well. But yeah, it's quite weird. And when it started to come over, in fact, still now, the smell. Febreze are well off the fresh air, wind, scent or whatever it is, because it smells lovely. Breathe it in. You're probably going to think, why the hell does he keep bringing me back? But this is an important point to show you. We're going over to the dark side. Although it's not that sunny over there either, really, is it? Just thought I'd share that with you. An interesting point, Waystone, most easterly point in Lancashire, now officially in Yorkshire. I think yesterday there might be a bit of footage where I said Blackstone Edge used to be. I think it's still maybe a boundary between Lancashire and Yorkshire. But yeah, that was a good thing to see. And yes, still foggy. Well, it's been rather pleasant. Still got all this moor grime come down, and path's been good. It is mainly stone, laid stone. There's a few bits that weren't. Two guys out for a run. They're going to Marsden and back in a bit of a loop. I'm going over to Slough. They complimented me on my bag. Don't know whether they were taking the mick or not. It seemed genuine. And then I've seen one other guy who looked like he was out for a bit of a day hike with just a small rucksack on, bit of a bimble maybe. This bit I'm coming down now, I sort of lost my bearings from places that I know. Obviously I can see it on a map, but on the other side up here there's a main road which is the A62, which is I actually drove down it yesterday, so yes. And then some lovely luscious greenery ahead and that bit of a cliff. I think this area down here is called Lower Bridge Gate or something like that. And then further up where that greenery is, we might have a bit of a special surprise, because I didn't realise that I would come this way, but we will. And also I'm a bit gutted because this is going to end up being a longer video if I start waffling about stuff. But when we've gone over the bridge, we join something called the Stanage Trail, which a whistle stop tour of that is. It's the canal path from many years ago when Benjamin Outram dubbed the canal from Manchester to Huddersfield to bring all the cotton and coal either way. They had to dig a tunnel which is called the Stanage Tunnel, and the Stanage Tunnel it's the highest, deepest, so highest above sea level, deepest meaning underground, railway and canal tunnel in the world. It's no longer the railway, but it is still the canal, highest, deepest canal tunnel. There you go. But horses couldn't go through the tunnel because they can't really swim. They didn't build footpaths through, and that's where the term legging it comes from, because the blokes on the barge lay on the back on the roof and legged it. So moved the feet and pushed the barge through using leg power, and the horses will walk over the top to meet them at the tunnel end, which is called tunnel end, on the opposite side, where they get connected back up to the horse and carry on with the journey. So yeah, it's Stanage Trail, we're on it. was a lovely little bridge, low bridge gate, whatever I said it was called. Where we're coming up to now, it's called Hay Green. Got an interesting fact about Hay Green coming right up. As if by magic, Hay Green generator. Joseph Roder, prominent mill owner. Look at this. That's interesting, isn't it? I'm alright, honestly. Don't ring an ambulance, I'm all good. The climb from down there was through someone's garden. That's why I didn't film it to show you, because you wouldn't have believed it was as steep as anything. And then this road, which I'm hoping I'm very close to the top of, is also steep. The main reason I stopped here is to turn the camera around and show you a few things that I've been waffling on about. So if we can see just there, that's the roof of Hay Green house where we were before. Up there we can see that's what we walked past before. We've come from up in the cloud there. You can just see top of a hill there that's in the cloud. Come across there and then down this one where them gullies are. It's just around that corner. The road that you can sort of see there's a couple of cars on it and you might hear the motorbike. That's the road I was talking about, the A62. And if we look down there, that's the reservoir, Tunnel End reservoir, and then this is actually Tunnel End. So we can see, possibly, I might try and zoom in, I'll get you a photograph. The railway tunnel to the right, which is still in use. And we've got the two blocked off ones there that are service tunnels for access in case of emergency. And obviously the canal basin's down there as well. I'll try and put a picture in of that. Back to this little bit of a grueler of a hill. I hate to think what I actually look like in this footage now, but it's 13 degrees, temperature's coming up. The fact about Hay Green, well, that is where the Tidy Up Fairy and I got married many years ago now. It used to be a hotel, and then a few years back it went into liquidation, financial difficulty or whatever, and the guy who owns Sports Direct bought it and he moved in, changed it into his home, did all the work to it. I say he moved in, I don't know if he did. And then in more recent times, probably about 2 years ago, a company bought it and it's now an aesthetics type place where you can go and have your bumhole bleached and your lips filled and all that sort of good stuff. So that's nice. So the whole walk was 9.12 miles from where I camped to the front door of Darkwoods Coffee. It was a nice walk, bit of the Pennine way that I've not done before, a big route that I've not done before, and it sort of made me think that the next Darkwoods open day in a month's time, I may camp somewhere slightly different and do it again. Could be a little thing to do in the month of June, we shall see. I had a flat white and I had a croissant. The croissant was from a bakery called Roger's Bakery. I do like their croissants. I have boycotted him slightly for reasons, but the croissant was nice, I enjoyed it. The coffee was always, as always, fantastic. So the bag, I weighed it when I came home, was 10.05 kilograms as a finishing weight, so that's without my water and without my food. I don't think that's too bad, so that's what I walked all that way with. The walk with the bag was alright, no real gripes with it, the bag sat perfect. I had a couple of hot spots on my shoulders. I think that's more me than the bag, but it won't stop me using it either at all. I think it works really well. So I did mention in the video that there are a few things that I wouldn't use. So I didn't use the slippers. My feet were dry when I got there, so I suppose that would have taken my shoes and my socks off. Changing into something different would have been why. The slippers would have been great. It wasn't actually that cold to warrant wearing them in the evening, so I didn't need them. Glad I had them, but didn't need them. I mentioned about the light, so I had another tent light with me that I didn't use. Probably wouldn't take that on another summer adventure when I'm walking anyway, like I was, but potentially would use it in the winter, so that would save a little bit of weight. The tripod that I'm using now is a carbon fibre tripod, travel tripod, really good, quite lightweight. Didn't really use it other than in the morning for a little bit of footage where I was wiping the tent down. That was the only time I used that. It also comes with this monopod height extender pole. Didn't use this at all. I would still take this whole tripod setup. There was a video light, like I said, I had with me. Didn't use it. Could have probably used it, should have probably used it in the night when the footage that I did outside in the dark would have been a lot better with that, I think. And then the last thing to mention is apologies that it's a longer video. The video changed to being a Wildcamp to a Wildcamp and hike. There's things that I wanted to keep in there. I've learnt from it a little bit of a different type of video than what's been on the co-op before, and I wanted to leave things in there so you could see it. So it's a longer video. I apologise. You got any questions? Just put them down below. I'll link up here to some other videos that I think you might like. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you in the next one.